Hey friends, welcome to the 51st episode of the Sunday Knitting Society podcast. My name is Chelsea and I'm a knitter in Oklahoma City. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're coming back, welcome back. I hope you guys have had a good 2 weeks. I have dogs inside today, so if you hear weird sounds, Lolly's licking herself over there. She's also intermittently wanting me to play with her nasty tennis ball that she ripped all the yellow fuzz off of. So, and speak of the devil, she's so, come here. Oh, wants me to throw it, won't give me the ball. Come here. She's wearing a new collar I got her that says favorite child. And Linus has one that says problem child. No, go lay down. Linus wants to join in on the fun. There they are. Hey, bud. He's had some GI issues lately. Hi. He's been waking me up at 4 a.m. so I can go to the bathroom. No, go lay down. Okay. Dogs are outside. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be okay to leave them inside. Also, like, I cannot get the camera angle right today. I have coffee now because it's like 1 o'clock here. But my brain just needs that little bit of help. So hopefully this will help. But yes, dogs are outside. They're happy. They have cookies. They're good. I don't even remember where I was. So it's been 2 weeks. I hope you guys have had a good 2 weeks. My 2 weeks have been very low key. I've not done much. I haven't bought much, which is good because I leave next week to go to Scandinavia, and I will buy as much yarn as I can get in my suitcase to bring back. I have lists on my phone of things that I want to buy. Yeah, this last month, I've been watching pretty much every YouTube video I can find about shopping for yarn in these different countries or cities and making lists. And I'm an itinerary kind of gal. I enjoy travel planning almost as much as I enjoy the actual trip. And so I make itineraries of like what plans for each day. And like this one is actually pretty like not super planned. I'm not a big museum person. There are some museums I really like. Like I'll probably go to the Edward Munch Museum just because. And then there are a few others that I put on my list to go to, but like I don't want to spend all my time in museums. I really like food tours, so I did book a food tour in Stockholm. I'm very excited. It's a walking food tour, so that's gonna be fun. I've actually made friends traveling because when I went a few years ago, I went to Brussels and booked a chocolate and beer tour that I misread, and I thought it was like a 3-hour walking tour. And at 3.5 hours into the tour, I was like, are we running behind? Like, what's going on? And they're like, this is a 6-hour walking tour. So I went from lunchtime all the way through dinner. I ended up going to dinner with a few other people from the tour, and we ate until we didn't get back to our hotels until like midnight. But it was so fun. So I love those kind of things. And then one of the podcasts I was watching was Pairs Well with Yarn. I think is the name of the podcast. And she did a big trip to Oslo recently and did a floating sauna. And I wanted to book a sauna sometime or in one of these cities. I didn't really care which one. But the company that she used, they float on the fjord, which is kind of cool. And I guess some of them, not the one I booked, but some will actually like go out into the fjord like a boat, but it's a sauna. But I think that one, you had to like book the whole thing for like a large group or something, and I'm just going by myself. So I actually booked a shared sauna, which makes me slightly uncomfortable, but I think they said swimsuits are mandatory, so there's that, but it's also like super close to my hotel. So I can easily walk there and back and not have to worry about getting lost. So, so I'm doing that. Other than that, I'm just going to yarn shops. I am a little bit annoyed with how full my suitcase is right now. I am not a Tetris kind of person. My dad is very good at like packing things in and visually like seeing how they'll fit and knowing how much room you'll have. I'm not good at that. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm barely bringing any clothes. No, it's still like, it's almost, I would say it's like 3/4 of the way full, which still gives me room. And some of the stuff it's full with are packing cubes, like compression packing cubes, and a foldable duffel. So that will come out at some point and be more storage. So it's maybe less than 3/4. I don't know. But it's fuller than I wanted it to be. I wanted it to have 1/2 for yarn, and it's not going to be that way. So it is what it is. I am going to rewear a lot of clothes. So I am packing clothes. Obviously I'm packing clothes, but like I'm not bringing a lot of extra. I'm rewearing a lot. So in the pictures, you will see me rewearing the same clothes over and over and over again. And that's okay. But yeah, so this week I was very monogamous because I was dead set on finishing a sweater to take with me on this trip, and it is done. It is blocked and I love it. So we'll talk about it in a minute. I was about to start going through all the things I loved and didn't like about this sweater. Let me just show it to you. Actually, first, let me show you the one that I finished first that you guys have seen before. This is my poppy sweater or poppy tee from PetiteKnit. I knit this in Sandisgarn alpaca, which is I think a DK weight base, sport DK. It turned out a lot cooler tone than I initially thought it would. I like it. It's very much like a cherry red to me, but I really like it. It fits perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. I love the shoulder details in the back. I just think it looks very clean and very profesh, which was the goal. It's got a perfect length, so it's not, I don't really want something cropped in a knitted tee. This is also very warm and slightly itchy. So it turns out pure alpaca is actually a little bit itchy. So I do have to wear something underneath this. All the cities I'm going to are going to be like in the 60s, 70s during the day. So we might be on the cusp of this being a little too warm, but the mornings are still going to be pretty chilly. So as long as I wear something underneath it, I can always just take it off and not get to wear my knit or find some shade and it'll be cooler. I don't know. So this is coming with me on the airplane. I always travel with an extra change of clothes so I can like be comfy on the plane and be professional when I arrive in case my suitcase doesn't. So this is going to be my professional top. But yeah, I love it. I did use almost all of the yarn for that. I think I talked about that in the last episode because I think I was like almost done with it last time. But I think I bought 10 balls of that yarn and I used all but one. So it ate through a lot more yarn than I thought it would. So the second sweater, and this one I'm actually very impressed and slightly shocked that I finished this in time. This is my bow sweater. Look at those pretty little bows. So this is, I used the Strange Brew pattern from Tin Can Knits. So you figure out your gauge, or they have 3 gauges for you. Mine was slightly off of the DK, but close enough. And so you pick what size you would be based on that gauge. And then they give you a recipe for either top down or bottom up. And I wanted to put this motif in there, and it just so turns out that this motif was exactly the right number of rows and stitches to fit in that in between two increases. The one thing not one thing, there's two things I don't love about this. So it's hard to see it. You can kind of see it a little bit better here, actually. You can kind of see I don't think that's an issue with tension. I think it's because there was a big increase right after that second bow. And you can kind of see it there. It kind of waves a little bit. I tried really hard to block that out, but when I'm wearing it, you still see the little bit of waving. And I think it's just because we increased too many stitches in that row. And both sides, you can kind of see that dip where the bow is. And again, I don't think that's because my tension was tight, because I'm a pretty loose colorwork knitter. I think it's because I increased so rapidly right afterward. The other thing is I think my yoke depth is too long. I know my yoke depth is too long. So when I raise my hands, the body of this kind of pulls up, which I don't love, but it's not terrible. And I did knit this pretty long, so I'm not flashing midriff. I did knit, look at all that ribbing. That's 2.5 inches of ribbing. I did a lot of ribbing. I hate ribbing. I don't hate it. I just sometimes find it tedious. But I did a lot. I wanted to actually do like 4-inch ribbed cuffs, but that was going to take too much time. But they're pretty long. Like, they definitely are not bracelet length. They're full length sleeves. So I knit this out of Holst yarn, or Holst yarn, super soft, and Titicaca in the slate gray colorway. And Casey commented on my last episode, had said, beware, slate gray bleeds like crazy, and she was absolutely right. The stuff bleeds like crazy. So I don't think it affected the bows at all. So the bows are spin cycle dyed in the wool in Pinky Swear, which is the LYS colorway for Lamb and Kid. So what I did to prevent bleeding on the bows is I used cold water, I used a color catcher, and I made sure that the bows were kind of at the top of the water so that all the dye would go down. And I only blocked it for 15 minutes. So I set a timer, and I was not going to let it just sit in that water for very long. And when I drained it, the water was black. Like, it was dark. So the other thing to note then with this is I'm not going to wear a white shirt underneath this, because it will probably stain the white shirt. So I will be wearing this with a darker shirt underneath. This is one that I think when it's cold outside, I won't need anything on underneath this, but if it's even just a hint of warm, this will be prickly as heck. So I will need to wear a t-shirt under this, probably for this trip, because unless it gets colder than the 60s, I feel like that might still be just a smidge, especially if I'm walking and I'm in sunlight, that might still be just a little bit too warm. So happy with how this turned out. I'm kind of shocked I finished it, if I'm honest. I think last Saturday, I was like, I got all my errands done on Friday. And then I just told myself, like, your one job on Saturday is to get through as much of the body as you can. So I just watched TV, I watched podcasts. I worked out, so I did exercise. I didn't just sit on my couch all day. But I think I got through to here to here on Saturday. So I just spent a lot of time knitting, but I'm happy with the result. So now I can take this with me to Denmark, which is very exciting. So those are the two sweaters. Those are my only FOs that I finished in the last couple of weeks, but I have a couple whips. I kind of debated bringing a sweater whip with me to Copenhagen, and in my mind I would love to like start something right before the flight and finish it while I'm there and get to wear it. But that requires some blocking, and it's bulkier. And the problem is I'm changing hotels. Like, the longest I'm going to be in any one hotel is the first hotel. I'm there for 4 nights. But then after that, I think 3 nights is my longest stay. And I just don't, that makes me nervous that it might not be fully dry because I'm not going to have a fan with me. I'm not going to have proper blocking mats. It's just going to be like on a towel in the bathroom. And if it doesn't dry in time, then I've got a damp sweater that I've got to travel with. And so that made me a little nervous. So I decided to nix that idea. So the sweater is not coming with me. So I figured also to save room in my suitcase, I'm going to pack very little yarn. When I get into Copenhagen, it's about 12 hours before the conference starts. And so, for the first half of my stay in Copenhagen, I'm a little bit more on the west side of the city. And when I come back, I'm a little bit more on the east side of the city. And so Knitting for Olive is on the west side of the city. And so my plan is to check into my hotel and then take the train out to Knitting for Olive, do that, and then hit a few shops on my way back in and buy some yarn to make socks and hats and things like that at those stores. And then that's my knitting for the rest of the trip. That's the plan. So what's funny is these are going to be much further along than I intended to bring as project for a trip. So the first one is a sock you guys have seen before. This is Woolens and Nosh, and it's the I Read Banned Books colorway. I love this colorway. It's so vibrant. It's so pretty. And I've got some fun little stitch blockers on it. Stitch blockers? Needle stoppers. That's what those are called. So I'm doing a cut-in heel, so I have that. And then what's convenient about these stripes is I know that I need 12 stripes before I start my toe. I think I'm at 9 right now. So I'm close to having a toe. Where'd it go? I wonder if I have it with me. Dang it, it's downstairs. I have a teeny tiny pair of scissors that have like a little silicone cover. And so I'm gonna bring that with me, and I'm probably gonna do a cut-in heel on an airplane, because why not? Or in an airport lounge, I don't know. I have everything I need to do that. It's not a hard thing to do. So yeah, I'm gonna finish a pair of socks on an airplane and then start a second pair. So this, I thought about bringing, I actually wound up, I have another color from Woolens and Nosh because I love this. This is her Targhee. I think it's Superwash. I don't actually know. But it's Targhee, and it's so, oh, there's a little bobble there. It's so plump, and just, oh, I love this yarn. And so I had another colorway from her, called Pretty Felt Garland, and I actually wound it up and fully intending to take it with me on this trip, but there's a yarn I really want to try, and I know some of the shops that I plan on going to on day one have it, and y'all can laugh at me all you want, you people who have easy access to this yarn. I don't have that easy of access, although I have, today I found 2 sources that are actually fairly easy sources for this, so I didn't realize they were there though. But I really want to try Filcolana Arwetta, or Arvetta. I don't know if it's Arvetta or what Arwetta. I know it's probably a super basic yarn, but like I've never tried it and I want to. And I want to make socks out of it. So I just decided that I'm not going to bring another ball of yarn for socks. I'm going to buy yarn for socks because I doubt I can knit an entire sock and finish one in one flight, especially because I'm going to be sleeping for a large part of the flight. Because I am very blessed that I am a narcoleptic on planes. I don't know where I got that skill from, but I can sleep on any flight pretty much. So it's great. Even sitting straight up, I've literally fallen asleep on a plane holding a cup of coffee in my lap without a lid and just slept with my like sitting straight up. Didn't spill my coffee. It's a skill. Okay, the next whip, I might finish it tomorrow, so I might need a new one. This one, okay, so I planned to bring yarn for a hat, and I was just gonna do a Pearl Soho classic rib beanie. They're easy. But I was watching Botanical Knitter, who is Emily, and she was making this hat that I was like, oh my goodness, that is beautiful. And it is the Alpine Bloom hat, which I didn't realize there was a hat version. I should have, but I've knit the Alpine Bloom tee for my mom for Christmas last year. Yeah, last year. But this is perfect because it needs one base color that's a sport weight, and then we can use whatever for the motif. But I have a ton of spin cycle, and so I thought this is perfect. So I was supposed to just cast this on and then save it for the flight, and instead I'm like a third of the way through it. So this is my Alpine Bloom hat. I am just to the like halfway point on the flower. You can kind of see the bottom part of it here. And I love it. So I'm using all stash yarn. The navy blue is, I think it's Chickadee from Quince & Co, and it's in the Peacoat colorway. And then the color changing, or the spin cycle, is Moonbeams, which is the LYS colorway for Moondrake. She actually has two. There's a darker one, I forget what it's called, but this is Moonbeams, this is the lighter one. And it's like blowing out like crazy. But I hope you guys can see all that beautifulness. It makes me really happy that I'm gonna get to like the pinky purple in the flower. So this is just flying. It is so easy. I have little stitch markers between every motif just to keep it easy, partly to know like when I make a mistake, it's easier to catch where the mistake happened. This is like a day and a half, and I'm just like, I just want to keep working on it. So I might actually, because I'm on row 21 and you start decreasing at 39. So the other thing I'm a little bit conflicted on. So I like knitting color work in the round. So if I'm doing a color work hat, I do not want to do a magic loop. But you can't do decreases very long on a short circumference cord. And so I have DPNs, but I hate DPNs. I hate them so much. And I have metal DPNs. I don't want to bring them on the flight. I just feel like they're gonna get confiscated. Like they're gonna look like a weapon more than my knitting needles do. I don't have wooden ones, and I don't really want to go buy wooden ones because I just don't like DPNs. And so there's part of me that wants to just like bring an extra cord that's a long cord and magic loop the top of this. But that also feels fiddly. And so I don't know. I might just bring another cord. I might just see, maybe I'll finish this one and see what works best. Like what is the most convenient. Because actually my thought was, I have so much spin cycle. And so I thought I would wind up a couple skeins of spin cycle and then buy yarn while I'm there to use as my main color. So I thought, because I'm going to Knitting for Olive, I actually thought their merino fingering would actually probably be a pretty good dupe for that. Or I could even do like, I don't like a lot of mohair, but I can handle some mohair on my head. So what if I did like fingering and mohair for the base color, so you get like a little bit of a fuzz in there. I don't know, but this is just, oh, it's so pretty. And I love that it's going to be done in time for me to like wear over there. I don't know if I can fit this on my head without dropping stitches. It's gonna look so, I can, but it doesn't look right because it's not a big enough circumference cord to fit over my head. Okay, well, I'm glad you guys got to see that. So yeah, so this is probably what I'm going to bring on the plane. The other thing that's nice, so with the sock needles, they're a fixed circular. With these, I can technically detach them and stick those with my pins. I've never had, knock on wood, I've never had my needles confiscated in the US. So I'm really hoping that doesn't change. I booked a weird flight schedule, and there's like, it's just, things have to go right with my first flight or I'm in, it's not gonna be pretty. So I had to book my first leg of my flight separate from my second leg of my flight, and I have to change airports. And I think it'll be fine. I've given myself a very large time cushion, and it's at an off-peak time of day, but like, it's just not ideal. And so I forgot where I was going with this story. Oh, so I do have to go through security twice because I have to go through in Oklahoma and then I go through again in the other city. So fingers crossed my knitting doesn't, if they take away my knitting, I guess I just get to finish the ACOTAR series on my phone because I don't know what else I'll do. I might go crazy. Okay, that's all my knitting. That's it. We made it to 24 minutes. Well, I guess it's a little longer because I'm gonna have to cut and paste things. I'm gonna go through some plans because I have so I was thinking about like what spin cycle to bring with me for my next hat. And this was actually the first one that I had wound up. And this is Shades of Earth, but it's a real funky Shades of Earth. I remember I bought this at Flock last year, and I bought a few skeins of it because it was like the weirdest, like it doesn't look like normal Shades of Earth, and I loved it. And so the plan was actually to put that with that navy blue, but I did a new thing this week that I think I've probably done this before, but I just haven't paid attention to, and I feel like it is such a good solution. So I wound up my base color first, and then I actually put it next to my winder so that the strand of spin cycle came on top of it so I could see it from above. So you could kind of tell how much of the yarn was going to blend in, because if it wasn't a high enough contrast for me to see the color, then I knew it was blending too much. And so much of this was blending in with the navy, not just that middle part, but there are also some other parts where it's not a big contrast. And I think this hat works best when you have big contrast. And so I wound this all up and then decided not to use it. But I kind of think maybe this with like a lavender or like a light mauve would be really pretty. So I might bring this with me. But then I started thinking, what if I like brought, like what if I actually like totally finish this and I need to have something to knit on? So oh, it's coming untucked. Let me fix this real quick. So I don't remember when I bought this yarn, but this is some Sonder yarn, Yak Sock. It's such a pretty color. So this is called La Fille. And it's this really pretty blushy brown kind of color. I just think it's so pretty. So then I thought, okay, I've got some, apparently I like to buy local yarn store colors or like the LYS exclusives. So this is Written in the Stars, and this is from Ritual Dyes. I have a lot of this. This is not actually, this is one of those mini situations where I probably should have called and virtual shopped. I don't actually know if they offer that or not, but I bought 5 skeins of this and none of them were what I was wanting. They're still pretty, but they were a little bit more beigey than what I wanted. And what I was looking at in the pictures. But I thought these two together, now this is not a super high contrast, but there would be parts like the turquoise that would be pretty, and even this would be a pretty high contrast. So I thought that'd be a very different vibe from the first one. So we'll see how much of the first one I finish as to whether or not I bring those. But yeah, that's all my plans. Now I have a little bit of acquisitions. I think I'm gonna have a lot of, I will have a lot of acquisitions on the way back because I'm buying yarn, but I've also ordered pre-order yarn. Some of it it's gonna take a while, so it won't be here for months. But some of it is pre-order yarn that I've purchased previously, and it will get here shortly around the time that I get back. But I bought some yarn from Frankie Gray Fibers. So she vended at Knit City Calgary, I think, whatever the recent Knit City was. She exhibited there, and the booth looked amazing. So kudos, that looks so good. I would have loved to go there in person. But she offered, I think it was a discount. I don't remember if it was a discount. I should probably do that. There was it was a tote bag. There might have been a discount. I don't remember. But for people who couldn't go to Knit City, and oh man, she was showing off some of her colors, and I was like, yes, those must happen. So the first one I got was Chestnut, and this was in the fingering weight merino. So it's merino 80/20 merino nylon. It's this beautiful like light brown. And then I got the matching Surrey. Actually, this is the Majestic Fluff, which is such a great name. So it's 53% super baby alpaca, 34% silk, 13% cashmere. It is really soft. Now they wound this so tight, so I'm imagining this one, once it gets opened up, it's gonna like feel even softer, but it already feels soft. So I figured this would make a really good hat. This kind of is giving teddy bear vibes, but I'm here for it. Maybe it needs to be like a teddy bear hat, except for that I wouldn't put fuzzy yarn for a baby hat, but maybe I need a bear hat. Probably not, but I still intend to make a hat out of this. I think it'll just be I think it'll actually go really good with my eyes and coloring and all that. So the next one, this was actually my plan to take with me until I decided to change my plans. So this is the DK, and I don't remember if this had a different name, if it was just black. I feel like it did have another name, but this is a beautiful, like very, very dark black, and the DK Superwash. I thought this, I could just make a hat. It could be an easy project. And I might still bring this. I don't know. I guess it depends on whether or not I'd make a decision about my spin cycle. But yeah, it's really soft. I love it. And I actually bought it to go with the next thing, but then I didn't pay attention, and the next thing I bought in a fingering weight set. So this is a mini set, and they just look so good. And I wonder if do they have a name? No, this is, so the colors are Phantom, Prickly Pear, Eucalyptus, Pinkety Pink, and Blaze. I love Pinkety Pink. That's such a fun name. Those are just so pretty. And I was actually thinking I would do like a color work with this, but I didn't pay attention, and I bought different weights. I could double up, but I kind of don't want to. So I don't know what I'm gonna make with these. I could make socks. I could do striped socks. The only thing I wonder though with striped socks with this is that how many freaking ends do you have to weave in? That just doesn't sound fun. But I don't know. It needs to be something cute. But that's my purchases as far as yarn goes. Oh yeah, and it came with a free tote bag. And so, and a tape measure, but I don't know where that went. So it's this awesome holographic pink tote bag. So that's kind of fun. It's very fun. But whew, okay, so that is all of the knitting. I have one other thing to show. This is a product review of a product I have not used yet, but I just feel like it's gonna be so perfect, and I feel like if you travel, this might be for you. If you have Targets, Target has a line, oh dear, what's it called? I think it's called Open Story. Of course I didn't actually say the tag. I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. But it's travel wear, and I was looking for a new tote bag to travel with because I usually travel, I have the Longchamp Le Pliage bags. They're waterproof, they hold a lot. They're not like an overnight or a weekender bag though. They're small-ish, at least the ones I have. I do have the one I bring in my suitcase is the giant one that folds down. But where's my brain going right now? So I knew, like, if I have to bring a like extra clothes, like a change of clothes with me, that bag is really too small to fit. Like, I have to bring my laptop, and it's just it's a lot of stuff in that bag. Ends up not being able to close. And so I decided not to bring that bag. And while I was searching for a replacement bag, which I did find, I found this backpack, this travel backpack. So it just has a lot of features all in one thing, and it was like 40 bucks. And so if you're in the market for a good travel backpack, you might give this one a look. So the first thing, it has a back padded compartment for your laptop. And this fit, I have a 13-inch laptop, it more than easily fit that. And honestly, like, it's huge. You could fit like 5 laptops in here. It then has like a front compartment that opens up pretty wide. It has a little zipper. I'm not showing this well. So there's the front inner thing. It has a little zipper pocket here that goes down pretty big. It has 2 little mesh things. It has a clip for your keys so they don't get lost at the very bottom. And it's just massive. It opens up super wide. Oh yeah, it's Open Story. There's the tag. So Open Story is the brand. It has side pockets for water bottles on both sides. It has a little pocket in the front. And then it has a thing to go over your suitcase handles. So you can just set it down on your suitcase handles. And it's a really cute green. And I just like that it's very sleek. Like, it doesn't have a lot of extra things on it. It's just those pockets and that. It's functional. So, now one thing I read on a review, so the straps, they're very padded, but they are not stitched down. And so I guess some people have found that the inner padding will twist sometimes. So I now own I owned a sewing machine, but I now know how to use it. So I guess I could always just stitch that down if that became an issue. I don't think it would though. It feels pretty solid in there. So if you are looking, they had 3 colors. This was the one I liked. I went ahead and bought it because I wasn't sure if I was going to use it or not, but I don't think I'm going to need it on this trip. But if I was just going away for a few days, the other bag, which I guess I should show you the other bag. So this is the other bag I got. I think this one was a different brand. This was a New Day. This was also Target. But I like that it had these like cushion padded handles. It's got oh, it's already open. It's got a laptop component. It's black, you can't see. It's got stuff in it right now. So it's got a spot for your laptop in the front. It's got, oh, it's heavy. It's got the thing to fit over your handles. And it's pretty big. On the inside, it's got a zippered pocket. It's got 2 open pockets. I don't think it has the little clip for your keys. That's maybe the one fault with it. But it's pretty good size, and it does have a crossbody strap as well. So like, if I was only going to be gone for a few days, I probably could pack in just those 2 items, like put my laptop and my carry-on stuff in this backpack, and then put all my clothes in the weekend. Sorry guys, my parents showed up at my house. So I have a Ring doorbell, but I don't have it actually attached to anything, so people ring it and nothing happens. And my dad called me. He's like, you asked us to come over to help with some things at your house and you're not even home. I was like, I am. I just didn't hear you ring that doorbell. So I think what I was saying is, like, if I was just doing a short trip, I would pack with the twosies, but this is a 2-week trip. So and this gives me more room to buy yarn. But I really like those two things. So if you are in the market looking for some good carry-on travel things, maybe give Target a look. Never thought I'd be sitting here repping Target, but there it goes. I think that's all for today, actually. Right now I don't have internet. There's an outage in my area and there's a lot of people trying to fix it. So I'm hoping that gets fixed before the end of today so I can upload this. I think I can figure it out. I can go somewhere with Wi-Fi, figure it out otherwise. I probably won't be back for 3 weeks because I'll be gone for 2. And then I don't think I'm gonna have it in me to record a podcast the first day I'm back, but you never know. Jet lag could hit real hard. So we'll see. But I'm sure I will have lots of yarny goodness to show. If you follow me on Instagram, I will post little recaps and videos and things like that from my trip kind of as I go. So, yeah, but I hope you guys have a good 2 or 3 weeks, depending on, I hope you have a good 2 or 3 weeks regardless. I hope you get lots of time for knitting or crafting of whatever kind. And I will see you guys back. Bye.